Two legs of the tripod. Here we go. Let's do it.
Boom.
I hit the wrong button. I hit the wrong button twice. And welcome to the Empty Wagon Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm killing it tonight. I'm Eric. He's Josh. Brad's busy tonight. Like I said, two legs of the tripod. Holding it down. Gonna bring you some buy low, sell high action tonight.
That's right. We're buying it and selling it and flipping it and gripping it.
Mm-hmm. How you doing, Josh?
I'm good, bud. I mean, all things accounted for, things have been better, but they could be worse. Had a sick puppy.
Yeah,
literally.
That's unfortunate.
So I had that. Got passed over for promotion, as we both did. I don't need to go into specifics there, but that also was not good. And then, yesterday was a nice kick in the chops, and today it got a little bit better. My dog was able to come home, so that was good. But I just cannot get out of here where I currently live fast enough. I'm ready to be back with you in the Sunshine State.
Is that what they call it here? I thought that was California.
Who knows? I think it's actually Florida, and it rains a lot in Florida.
Oh,
so I don't know why
Florida is the Sunshine State.
It's miserable there.
Why do they call California?
California is the liberal state. Yes, that's
all right. That's
$7 a gallon state. That's what it is.
The $7.
Yeah, how you been, bud?
Good, man. Good.
Those boys keeping you awake all the time, or what?
Oh, yes. I'm. Well, the youngest is starting to sleep a little bit better, like an extra maybe hour or two. So I get up twice a night now. Just you've been there. You know how tired you are. It's awful.
I don't miss it. I don't miss it at all.
Yeah, I got one out of diapers, and then I just started changing diapers again. So it's just been one long string of diapers. It's been great.
Oh, gosh, dude. Yeah, that was those are some of the hardest years and some of the best years because they're precious at that time.
They're great, man. They're funny, and you never know what's going to come out of their mouth, stuff like that. But
what they're going to put into their mouth.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh my god!
It's kind of like a dynasty draft because you never know what's going to happen.
That's true. There was some. You had a startup draft along with Echo. That's been going on for a little while.
It's still going on. Apparently, I just auto picked. I was real sad about it.
Who'd you get,
16th round. I got Jeff Wilson Jr. in the 1704. It's kind of upset about it. But
now we do know that he's good whenever he plays. It's just that backfield is very crowded.
It is a crowded backfield. Agreed. But I did need a running back, so it's not terrible. But we'll see what happens. We're almost done. I think we got 11 rounds. 11 rounds to go. Yep, 28 rounds total. And then you guys had Alpha Bravo, Charlie, and Dynasty, brought to you by FSA, had their rookie drafts for this year.
Absolutely. Those went stunningly well, smashingly well. Fantasy Sports Alliance, FSA-FR.com. We had some fantastic drafts this weekend. Now, this was in some dynasty leagues, but believe me when I tell you, you don't have to just play dynasty. So you missed the boat on that. Who cares? There's redraft. You can come check out redraft, FSA-FR.com. It's going to be huge this year. It's going to be the largest redraft we've ever had. We're going to continue to grow despite a pandemic. We don't even care. You can mask on, mask off. It doesn't matter. It's all online. No one's going to judge you. We're all friends here. So let's get involved. Let's get some trades going. There's several regions across the world, not just a region in the United States. We have regions in Europe. We have some in Asia. I mean, it is literally all over the world. And you guys should check it out. Go to FSA-FR.com. Check out the website, check out the different leagues you can sign up for, and don't forget to check out our shows. On Tuesday nights, we got the Average Bros, and on Wednesday nights, we have the Fanatically Real broadcast. We're on every Friday night. The Fanatically Real broadcast obviously is the mothership show. It is the ornament on the tree, the star on the tree. It is Mother Teresa. It's everything that you want it to be. It's perfect.
great.
We're just over there hanging out by ourselves. We're just holding on coattails, basically, is what we're doing over here at the Empty Wagon. But that's okay. So check it out at fsa-fr.com. We love being a part of this great company, this organization. So please check it out. And back to you, Easy E.
We're that homemade cookie ornament that's struggling on like that really thin branch and is starting to like fall apart and get crusty. Yeah. But we're in there and we're trying to make it happen.
Held together with Elmer's glue, baby. We're rolling.
Yep. And we want to thank our broadcast sponsor, Football Darts. Football Darts is a dart game that combines the skill of traditional darts with the strategies of American football. This innovative dart game is played on a uniquely designed multiple target dartboard. Unlike traditional British darts, American football darts is a game that combines both the skill of darts and the strategy of football. It can be played in sports bars, at tailgate events, as league tournaments, or as a leisure activity in the comfort of your home. If you'd like to check out their officially licensed collegiate dartboards, go to footballdarts.com. Check those out. They're beautiful. And if you happen to be playing in FSA and you win, you might get something. Might get yourself a little treat from footballdarts.com.
Little treatsy treat. We even have our own promo code right there. You can go to footballdarts.com and enter the promo code IPlayFSA to get 30% off. That's 30 with a 30, not 3%. That's more than you get for a military discount. It's more than you get for first responders or senior citizens. Check it out. Come on. Footballdarts.com. Now, obviously, a lot of great things going on. This is kind of dynasty season. There's not a lot going on with redraft right now, so this is dynasty season. This is what a lot of I actually love. I've been so in love with dynasty for the past few years. It's almost like, to me, redraft has been kind of an afterthought, which I don't want to say that. I love redraft still, but I feel like you get to really get that power of a GM in dynasty that you don't necessarily get in redraft. So there's been a lot of rookie drafts going on. There's been startup drafts happening, leagues where you can jump in, get kicked out. There's all kinds of things that can happen. And this week,
if you didn't listen to last week's show, go back and listen to it. You can hear about Josh's struggles staying in a redraft league.
It happens. There's been some
or was that a dynasty league?
It was a dynasty league. I jumped in, got kicked out, and then I jumped back in, and then those guys, we didn't really get along, so I left again. I left again. Sometimes it doesn't always work, but that's okay. And I think that's important. Dynasty leagues, you should have active leagues. Dynasty leagues, like, you want it to be a year-round thing. You want to be able to talk to the guys that you're in a league with and communicate and work out trades. At least have communication. Even if you're saying, get away from me, leave me alone, whatever. Dynasty is about year-round stuff. You can't just be the Houston Texans and say, we're not even taking phone calls for Deshaun Watson, because they are now, because things change. Okay? Things change. I bet they're taking phone calls now, aren't they? Yeah. So it's one of those things, like, so you want an active league, and I think that's something that you really have to – you're going to struggle with, because if you join with your friends and you find out your friends aren't really that active, you have to make the decision, do you want to be in the league anymore, or do you want your friend to be in the league? And sometimes you got to vote people off the island. I mean, it's sad to say, but in Dynasty, you want activity. You want people to be, even if you're sending out terrible trade offers, which I do sometimes because I like to start a conversation. And then other times I'm bored and I just want to see what I can get going, see if I can get a little action, because, I'm addicted. Some people aren't addicted like me, though.
We do love to make the moves.
Yeah, but everyone has their own thing. Eric, you love picks. You are addicted to draft picks.
I love to hoard. Well, that's an orphan team. So I took over an orphan dynasty team, and they were trash. What did I start with? Like DeAndre Hopkins, and that's like it? I think Nyheim Hines might be the only guy I have left from that original squad. And I've been hoarding picks and trading assets, and now it's all coming to fruition, and I can see the team coming together. And it's a beautiful thing.
You think so? Last year was the deconstruction and the beginning of the rebuild. Yeah. Because you got the team before the rookie draft, right? Or did you get it after the rookie draft?
I got it. I think it was after, because last year was my first draft with you guys, because I had a couple of picks.
Yeah,
with
you got it
guys.
before. You got it before that particular rookie draft because you had guys like T. Higgins and you had Michael Pittman. You got a bunch of stud receivers. I remember that.
I did. Yeah, I had it before last year's draft. Yes.
And you got it like in the middle of the season. It was terrible. It was all bad. So anyway, you started the rebuild then, and now this team is really molding together and taking shape. So it wasn't really that long of a rebuild, and I think that you have the opportunity, if things go accordingly, to compete this year. Now you're going to have some misses on your draft picks because everyone does, but for the majority of the bulk, you had bulk. It wasn't necessarily you weren't. Now you just got to get quality and quantity because you had quantity all day. You just got to be right now. So let's hope that you're right.
Fingers crossed. Because every draft pick's a lottery ticket, right?
Yes.
So I was just trying to get as many lotto tickets as I could, and now fingers crossed that some of those guys work out, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think for me, so I was in my FSA rookie draft, and the players I wanted just kept getting taken right before me, and it hurt real bad. I wanted a la Justin Fields. I overpaid to move up to a spot where I could take him, and it's a super flex tight end premium league. Couldn't do it. So I said, okay, you know what? I'll move up and I'll take Pitts, and I'll move up. I tried everything I could to move up for that, and no one was budging then as well. And so I said, fine, I'll take this and this. And then I said, well, that's okay because Waddle will fall to me. I want Waddle. And it was him or Devontae Smith. I knew one of them would fall to me. That's okay because I wanted Waddle, but I wasn't going to let that be known. I kind of sold that I wanted Smith. Mm-hmm. Didn't work out. So I lost Pitts, Field, and Smith. And that's you know what? Second round, I'll get my little backup sleeper quarterback by the name of old Kellen Mond, a guy that I'm pretty high on. And guess what? Poof. Someone took him too. So I traded my third round pick. I was so done with the whole I'm out. I'm done. So that happens sometimes, in fantasy leagues where you just do everything that you can and then you just keep getting sniped. I mean, so that's why I knew we're in a league together with single quarterback league. I just went and got my guy right away. I didn't want to leave it a chance. I tried to trade out of the pick to get value. Didn't work. I was like, you know what? I don't even care. I overpaid for a player who probably really belonged in the middle of the draft, but it's what my team needed and it's what I wanted. I don't even care. So I took Kyle Pitts and I took him with the second pick overall.
You got your guy.
I got my guy. Now it allowed you to get just so much
plethora of riches. Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
The only player you missed out on was Jamar Chase, but everything else.
I'm pretty good at receiver though, and I still got Waddle, so I'm not super upset about it. But those running backs.
You got Javonte Williams, Travis Etienne. You got Justin Fields. You got quite a few.
I got Trey Lance. I should be okay at quarterback. Fingers crossed one of those guys works out. That's why I took both of them. Because you, looking for value, took Rashard Bateman at 10, who I would have taken at 12 had he been available. Because I do like me. Brad, especially, he carries a torch for Rashard Bateman. I think he got him in one of his rookie drafts as well. We don't want to step on the FSA drafts. The boss is probably going to recap all that fun stuff coming up this Wednesday. I think he's back. And he's going to talk about that. I will say this about the Foxtrot draft, though. It has been really fun, and it has been just people going and getting their guy. They're having fun, and they're like, I'm going to put the team out that I want to root for every week, and we're all having a good time. So it's been really fun, making a lot of trades. It's been great. So the boss will recap that. I'm sure the Average Bros may talk about it as well. Because Average Josh has a couple of teams. He's got what, 2 dynasty teams, I think, with FSA. So they'll talk about that and have a good time breaking that down. I think they're going to do some more divisions too.
Yeah, you get a little excited about this. So some quick news: the Broncos right tackle who tore his Achilles, they said, you know what, we're done with you. They went ahead and cut him. $10 million. He's going to go ahead and file a grievance. Of course,
he was the one that wasn't at the team facility, correct?
Yeah. So, and then the same thing happened with another receiver they drafted the same year they drafted Cortland Sutton. His name was Deshaun Hamilton. They were getting ready to waive him. And then all of a sudden they started getting some phone calls. It's like teams were like, hey, don't waive him. We'll trade you for him. And they're, whoa, we'll come to find out he was working out off site and decided to go ahead and tear his ACL. So good news all around. Broncos season's really off to a freaking fantastic start. I'm pumped about that.
Yeah.
So we'll move on there. Kelvin Benjamin. Now, he is trying to get back in the league. That's right. He's having
The competitive
tryout.
eating league?
Yeah, well, he's having a tryout with the New York Giants. He was originally drafted by David Gettleman, who was there, the GM, with him in Carolina. But he's appearing as a tight end. Now, he's 6'5", 245 pounds. He's a beefy boy. Do you think we should just move on? All right, we'll just move on. It's fine. Is there anything you want to say about Kelvin Benjamin? No?
Well, first I want to say, hey, MJ, what's up? Thanks for joining us.
Oh.
And second, if Tim Tebow can come back at 33 years old, why not Kelvin Benjamin? Why not? Come on back. Come on down. He can't be any worse than Evan Ingram, right?
He could. He
could be, I guess. But
yeah, he's no Evan Ingram. Get out of here.
I don't know what he brings to that crowded receiving core already, other than maybe some experience to impart to maybe some of the younger guys, a Darius Slayton or a Kadarius Toney, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I don't think he'll actually make the team. Although I didn't think Des Bryant would make the Ravens last year, and he did. So
there you go.
Stranger things have happened. Yeah. I don't think it adds any value, and I certainly wouldn't take a flyer on him in fantasy. I wouldn't even take a flyer on him. So don't waste your time.
Some people are taking a flyer on Tim Tebow because he's getting to try out with the Jaguars as a tight end, and people are just saying, like our good friend Brad, they said, I just want Jesus on my side. So probably won't ever play, but he'll probably be the four-string tight end if he makes the squad, which I don't think he will. People are getting really up in arms about the whole thing. Let's just calm down until we know what happens. I don't want to say too much more on that, but people are flipping out. Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater, Vic Fangio said that the tryout will be 50-50. Both of them will get an even shot. So that's good news for us Broncos fans who want Teddy Bridgewater to start. Justin Fields said he's ready to come in and compete.
Get him, Justin.
That's right. Antonio Brown is getting sued for assault and battery.
Shocking.
So there's that. Of course, I don't really even know what to say about him.
That's interesting because I think I have him on a dynasty roster, and does he get suspended again? And if he does, do I just drop him and leave him off my team?
I mean, I think that's what the Buccaneers will do. So I think he'd be okay with doing it. He's just not worth the trouble that he's going to be causing. Blake Bortles, though, he has found a new home, Eric.
As a construction worker ripping Sagegis?
No, Blake Bortles will be with the Green Bay Packers. So he has
desperate times. Call for desperate. Is Damian out there? There's your guy, bud. Blake Bortles going to hold it down for you while Aaron walks away and goes to host Jeopardy. That's rough.
It's not good. That is not good.
If you own him in Superflex, if you own Rodgers in Superflex, you're just sweating right now. Like you're just praying he either gets traded or they make up, like they just give him a boatload of money and he's like, okay, I'm happy now. And he comes back and plays. Because if he doesn't, you are hurting. Especially now, because these rookie drafts are coming and going, and maybe you didn't get a quarterback because you're like, I got Aaron Rodgers for another couple of years. I'll be all right. And then, poof, there he goes. It could be a rough situation, to say the least.
Not good. So, there's a whole plethora of things that are going awry right now. But, at least he's there. Now, Tom Brady, one more last note. The Bucs general manager, Jason Light, came out and said that if Tom Brady wants to play until he's 50 and he thinks he can still do it, he's got a spot on this team. What do you make of that? Real quick. We won't spend too much time on this, but what do you make of that?
I mean, as long as he's playing at a high level, why not? I mean, I don't think he'll stay around till 50. I don't think his body's going to be able to handle any kind of punishment at that point. But he's 43, so I'd say another 2. I'd say another 2 years. He's okay. 50, that's really stretching it. I mean, Tristan Wirfs has a lot to do with keeping him upright and keeping him safe. He was fantastic last year. He should have been the offensive player of the year, in my opinion. But I don't think I don't think he'll go past 45. But if you can still do it at a high level, hang out, do your thing.
The thing I think is the funniest thing is that his wife is so done. She's like, "You won." It's like that guy who's in
How
the
many
gym.
more do you need?
Yeah, it's like that guy who's in the gym. He's already like swole, cut, and he's still there. And you're just over there. You're just like, I don't know. I just don't want to die when I'm 50. I'm just trying to like just get in a little bit of shape, you know? It's like, you won. Stop. Get out of here. You won. So Tom Brady, 7-time Super Bowl champ. You already won, bud. So let's get into our the meat and potatoes of our show, bud.
Oh, one last piece of news.
Okay.
We got the Cowboys are going to lose to the Buccaneers on opening night. It's going to be great.
Oh, yeah. The NFL schedule release happened this week, and it is not good. 17 games. Now, a lot of people are already making the jump. We made the jump in one of our dynasty leagues to push because now bye weeks will happen in week 14. So we made the push in our dynasty league that we're in together to push playoffs beginning back in week 15. So that's kind of one of those things that you have to do and you have to adjust. But we voted on it because that's what a good democracy does. Vote on it. Even though you probably should have voted on it before the schedule came out. That way people could be like, "Oh, doesn't affect my team." But it all worked out. I don't know what MJ meant by 3 years. What does this mean? 3 years
I'm not sure. MJ, you got to explain. What I said 3 years. 3 years for Brady, like left from last year?
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Possibly.
I mean, he's still kicking strong.
Interestingly enough, you bring up the bye week thing. After the schedule came out, the Fantasy Pros draft assistant will tell you what weeks people have bye weeks in, and you can just be like, "Oh, that's okay. I won't stack these guys." It's great.
There are so many great resources out there. I mean, Dynasty Fantasy Pros is fantastic. Dynasty Nerds is another one that I've been using quite a bit. I mean, I know these guys aren't paying us or sponsoring us, but maybe they want to. But just fantastic stuff. So, speaking of Dynasty, we're gonna do some buy low and sell high, bud.
Yeah, let's talk some buy low, sell high.
Because you can get them really low.
No worries, MJ. It is late. We're tired. You're tired. Type whatever you feel needs to come out.
Let's start with the quarterback position. Okay.
Starting with QB. All right. Are we talking super flex?
Yeah, just in general,
okay.
Super flex. Even if it's one QB, I mean, we can talk about what you'd pay for him. But what's the guy you think you should buy low right now?
A QB you should buy low on right now. Oh boy.
I got an easy one.
Go for it. Fire it up.
I think you should buy low on Deshaun Watson. And the reason I'm saying that is we know the talent is there. I don't remember Dynasty is about immediate future or the immediate present and long term.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can get away with, in some leagues, offering a second round pick for Deshaun Watson. It's gonna be tough, but I think you could. And then if you were willing to get squirrely and offer a first, you could, but that's tough to bite that bullet. I don't think he's gonna play in this upcoming season. I don't. I would be really surprised if he did. But I do think that there's been a lot of talk in circles that are happening, and it's looking more and more like the NFL isn't going to pursue this. The clients on the other side of the case are trying to settle it, even though Watson's lawyer is adamant that they do not want to settle. They want to prove his innocence, that's good. But I just think a lot of this is going to carry over into the season. It's going to be quite murky. If he plays, I would be shocked. But I think he's a perfect buy low candidate because the person who has him is probably stressed out. They're like, oh, my gosh, I don't know what's going to happen. If you can just offer them a starter, you could probably give them a starting quarterback or something they could use. And if they don't need a starting quarterback, you could probably offer them a nice little second-round pick, and they'd be willing to go for it. Because they're probably wanting to jump off this ship because they're thinking it's going to be like Antonio Brown and he'll never play again, which is what we thought. That's what we thought. But look, Antonio Brown now playing last year and he's playing this year as well, even though he just got sued. So I think he's a perfect buy low candidate. The talent's there. You don't have to explain that situation. Eric, do you have a guy or any comments about this Deshaun Watson situation that you want to talk
Watson is a good buy low candidate because if you manage to get him for a second round pick, especially like a late second round pick or an early third round pick, he's got top 5 QB upside, especially in a super flex league. And he's still 25 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So if he is exonerated and he stays off the commissioner's exempt list and all this stuff, or even if he's not there this year and you're not in a position to win right now, you're getting an asset for the future. Like you said, you're looking maybe 2, maybe 3 years down the road. If you're looking more than 3 years down the road in Dynasty, you're probably looking a little bit too far. But just insane upside for a second or third round pick, which in a rookie Dynasty draft is a dart throw at that point anyway. So you might as well take a chance on a proven guy, and see what you can get with that. Because
absolutely,
it's better than a Kellen Mond or a Davis Mills who
gosh.
we don't know if they're going to work out. So they absolutely could, but you just don't know. But Watson, we've seen it from him season in and season out, and if you can get a hold of him, and fingers crossed he plays, maybe even if it's not this year, or even maybe if it's only half of this year, if he comes back for like the playoff stretch, like you say he's suspended like 8 games, he comes back for the playoff stretch, that would be really nice to have, especially with the extra game this season. Like Josh just said, our Dynasty League is going to go to week 15 for playoff games. So you would have him for 7 weeks. Maybe that's good enough to get you in there. And anything can happen once the playoffs start. So
anything can happen. Mm-hmm. Anything can happen.
My buy low candidate, man, I believe in Tua. And I think if you can get him cheap, because I think a lot of people are upset with what happened last season. He didn't really get a lot of reps. He didn't get a chance to play coming off that hip injury, and they kept kind of yanking him in and out for Ryan Fitzpatrick. I know he is the starter there right now. If you can get him for a decent price, I overpaid for him slightly in a dynasty league that I'm in, but I give up older assets for him. Looking down the road a little bit, I think he's worth buying low on if you can get him, because people are probably like, oh man, I got a lemon. He's not really going to live up to the hype. That hip's going to be a problem, et cetera, et cetera. There's lots of reasons you could convince somebody to sell low onto it and get him. So he's got a new weapon in Jalen Waddle. Devontae Parker was a wide receiver 1, 2 years ago. Gesicki's a nice red zone target. They'll run the ball. They have a really good offensive line. I think he's a good buy low candidate to do well, because everybody talks about Burrow and how great he was. Tua did that for 2 straight seasons in college. Burrow did it 1, and everybody loved him last year until he went down. So I think you should give Tua a chance.
Okay, I think that's perfectly reasonable. I agree with you. I think Tua they're going to give him everything he needs to be successful. And I think that's something that you have to really consider. I mean, he's going to have whatever he needs. I went back and I said, okay, how good was he before the injury? Because that was one thing I was concerned with, is I didn't see him throwing downfield a lot last year in Miami. But in college, I went back and I said, well, let's just see. And he actually did go downfield quite a bit. I mean, that was the Lane Kiffin years, and he was very successful doing so. So I think if he can get a little bit of that velocity back, he's probably going to be closer to 100% this season. I feel really good about that. I think that is a great buy low pick, because Tua, along with, there's a couple of those guys who I think can give you value this year, but then I think Tua can give you value beyond this year with this season coming up as well. Now, as far as selling high, there's a guy who I want to sell high on, and I know if Brad was here with us, he would hate it so much, but I don't believe in him. I'm sorry. I don't believe in Lamar Jackson. I don't.
Oh, okay.
I think that he is a fine fantasy quarterback. We've seen what happened to these guys who scramble and run a lot. Their careers aren't long. He's not a great passer. We've seen this. We've written this story. We've seen it. Why not get out from underneath them and go get someone a la Justin Herbert in a pick, a la Trevor Lawrence in a pick, Joe Burrow in a pick? Go sell him high. Him and I don't want to. Maybe you're looking at Kyler Murray, but these guys, he doesn't last long. Lamar, he will not last in this league. He's proven that he cannot throw the ball at an elite level. Now, I'm not saying that he doesn't have a great arm, because he does. But as far as an elite passer and the tools you need to be successful long-term in the NFL as a passer, I just don't think he has it. I could be wrong. I hope that I'm wrong, because I think that he is incredibly talented as a runner. But I just feel like we've seen this story 100 times, and he's not a guy that I want long-term. I think right now his value is very, very high, and you can get a substantial amount of return for him. And he's one of those guys that I would be looking like, hey, let me sell this thing like it's a freaking auction and get the best available thing that I can get for him. So that's just my opinion. Eric, do you have anyone you want to?
A sell high candidate? I think you should sell. I was actually thinking another buy low candidate. I think you should take a flyer on Sam Darnold low. Again, if you get like a second round pick, a mid second round pick, or a early third round pick, if you can move him, you don't know what you have in him, and nobody really does. So Matt Rule and Joe Brady, they got Terrence Marshall, they got DJ Moore, they got ETN. No, wait, sorry, that's Carolina. That's Jacksonville. Excuse me. We got CMC back, Chuba Hubbard. Should be an interesting team for him. And I think that's the best situation he's ever been in his career. And if he can get some consistency, just like 2 years of consistency in the same system with the same guys, with the same coordinators, I think he'll be decent. I don't know if he's going to be like a top 12 guy, but I think he could be a top 20 guy. I think he could be a QB2 for you, no problem, especially in super flex leagues.
I agree. I didn't know do you want to do another buy low?
No, I'll do another sell high, because I was like, oh no, I don't know who to talk about.
That's fine.
So I mentioned this, I think 2 or 3 shows ago. I think we were ranking our QBs, right?
Yep.
And I had Kyler Murray a little bit lower. Kyler Murray's coming off of, he was QB2 last year in PPR.
It's very good.
I think he's a guy you should sell high on. I know they added Rondell Moore in the offseason. They got James Conner. Don't love that. Still got D-Hop. They're still going to throw the hell out of the ball. But I worry, and Josh, like you said, he's a runner. He's smaller. He does slide. He does know how to avoid contact, but it's going to catch up to him eventually, right? So once that shiftiness kind of starts to go away, his accuracy is pretty good, but the interceptions are what scares me. And I'm worried that it's Kingsbury there, right? Cliff Kingsbury.
Mm-hmm.
I worry that he's not developing him as a passer, because he had 26 touchdowns and 12 picks. The interceptions worry me. I worry that he's hitting the ceiling as a passer, and then he'll have to rely on his legs a little bit too much.
Yeah.
So I would move Kyler Murray if you could get him for a couple of first round picks, especially in a super flex league. He's probably got like 2 first round pick value, maybe a little bit more. Or like you said, you could go with maybe a younger quarterback, maybe try to flip him for Justin Herbert in like a second, or Trevor Lawrence in a late second, early third, something like that. That's not high, but you've got more upside with those guys, in my opinion, especially Herbert, who we saw just light it up last year. And they got a new tackle to keep him safe this year. So the running game should be better with Eckler back. So
absolutely. And there's one more guy I want to mention real quick. Eric, what is fantasy football about? It's about winning, right?
I like to have fun, but I also like to win money. So yes.
Yeah, winning is part of the fun. So I think if you can go out and get a player like a la Thomas Brady, you might not like him, but he doesn't have a lot of dynasty value. So you can probably go buy low. But winning happens now and in the future. And I'm sorry, but Tom Brady was a top 10 QB last year. So you can hate all you want to, but at 43 years old, the man is still doing work. And he returned everyone in his team. They got more time together. I like what Thomas Brady brings to the team. I think that you can go out and you can get him and you don't have to give up a lot to get him, but you can win now and in the future. So that's a quick little thing I want to throw out there. Now we can move on. Eric, what's the next position you want to go with? I'll let you pick. You pick whatever you want.
Let's talk running back. There's plenty of meat on the bone there for running back, I think. Let's do that.
Absolutely.
Do you want to start with a buy low candidate?
Okay. So my buy low candidate, who I think is going to bring a lot of value to your team, but he's not going to be – he's not sexy. And I think that's one of those things that you need to get over. Not everything is sexy because he wasn't hot last year. They used a committee, but I think that you can still get him for a decent value. And that's Cam Akers. Cam Akers is a guy who he won't cost you the farm. He doesn't have the same name value that JT does. Eric, how much do you love Jonathan Taylor and DeAndre Swift? I would say that there's a bit of a man crush there.
Him, Swift, Dobbins, and JT. Yes, I have a huge man crush on all three of them. But I think Akers, I'll look it up. You keep making your case. I'm going to look something up real quick.
So Akers and CEH were left out in the cold, and that's fine. CEH, he was supposed to be coming in as the number one Don Dada last year based on landing spot. And we can't get too caught up in opportunity and landing spot. We have to think about talent sometimes. And Cam Akers, yes, he had to push his way through some of the crap to get through it. But whenever he started playing, Cam Akers really, he was the cream that rises to the top. And he had a phenomenal season. He averaged 4.3 yards per carry. He rushed the ball only 145 times, but 625 yards. Now, those touchdown totals have to come up a little bit because he only had 2. But I really like what he brought to the team. He had a receiving touchdown to boot. Remember, this backfield was muddied last year. When they found out that Cam Akers could handle it, they wanted to go. And that's what they did. Cam Akers is going to be a fine buy low candidate because right now you see a lot of dynasty websites. Right now he's rated as the 21st running back on the one site that I'm looking at currently. 21st. He doesn't have the same name value as a Swift or a J.K. Dobbins or a Derrick Henry or friggin' Christian McCaffrey. But I think that he can be a good running back for your team with RB1 upside. This offense is going to be better this year. You can say whatever you want to, but the Rams offense is going to be better with Matthew Stafford than it was with Jared Goff. They had the whole offseason to work together. I feel very good about Cam Akers' opportunities here.
All right. I don't know if you're going to be able to get him as a buy low candidate. The rankings I'm looking at, they have him as the 8th running back in Dynasty. So he might cost you a pretty penny, but man, if you can get him low, yeah, I think that's a great buy low candidate if you can get him. Buy low candidate for me, I'm going to say this and then move on real quick because it's Joe Mixon. He's super undervalued right now. He's 24. He's 24. He's undervalued.
He's overvalued.
So no, I don't think so. Last year he would have been what, a late first round, early second round pick. He's going like in the 3rd or 4th round now. I think he went really late in our draft. I'd have to scroll down pretty far. But I think he's a guy that if you can get him cheap, he's a guy that could potentially bring a lot of value to your football team, especially with Gio Bernard being gone. Okay, that 3rd down, passing down back is gone now. They did bring in a rookie, Chris Evans, but he's raw. He's kind of a project. If Mixon's healthy, he's like a top 7, probably like top 7 upside with the volume that he stands to get, especially with Gio Bernard being gone. A sell high candidate, I think a sell high candidate would be CEH.
How
if you can sell, you don't think so? You don't?
No. Go ahead. Go ahead. Say your case. With your dirty, filthy mouth. Go ahead.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
So they brought in another receiver. They retooled their entire offensive line, but he's not really a between the tackles kind of guy. But who is? Jerick McKinnon. And that's who they brought in. So I feel like he's going to lose out on goal line work. And Patty Mahomes ain't looking to check it down. He's just not. All right. He's only got eyes for the downfield, the Tyreek Hill, the Travis Kelce, whoever else they brought in. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He's not going to be looking to check it down to CEH. So unless they revamp that offense drastically, I don't think he's going to be as valuable as everybody thinks he's going to be. But by all means, please, poo-poo on my case.
Dude, CEH is the man. Jerick McKinnon ain't got no knees. Ask Todd Gurley about having no knees. You don't do nothing with no knees.
I'm
Get
so
out of
glad
here.
I got out on Todd Gurley a season early.
Oh, my
I lucked
gosh.
out.
Yeah, Jerick McKinnon's not going to cause any threat. CEH, he's going to be just fine.
Think
I'm
so?
not going to panic on that. No, there is a guy, though, that I want to sell high on, and maybe you'll be a little bit surprised. I don't know. His name is Miles Sanders.
Ooh, okay. That is
And
a muddied backfield.
Exactly. So I'll tell you why I want to sell Miles Sanders is because his own team doesn't believe in him. Now, Nick Sirianni is the new head coach, and they decided, you know what? Let's bring our own guy in. So they drafted a guy, Kenneth Gainwell. And even despite having Kenneth Gainwell, Miles Sanders, Boston Scott, they said, let's put in a waiver for this guy named Kerryon Johnson. Oh, so now you added another piece to the pie. This backfield is out of control. They don't believe in Miles Sanders. You know what Kerryon Johnson, despite him being banged up and injured, you know what he is really great at? Pass blocking. You know who's not great at pass blocking? Miles friggin' Sanders. You know what down you pass block on? Third. That's what you're going to also get receptions on. They threw the ball to him last year. He had 28 receptions, down from 50 the year prior. Now, granted, he only played in 12 games, but he received 52 targets and 28 receptions, which means he wasn't catching a lot of those balls despite Carson Wentz not being able to do a whole lot. His yards went down from 10.2 to 7 yards per reception, and he had 0 receiving touchdowns. The team doesn't believe in Miles Sanders' ability to handle third down work. They clearly brought in Kenneth Gainwell and Kerryon Johnson to compete for that role, and there's a chance that they're going to take more work from him. I think you should take Miles Sanders, and I think you should trade him now, even though you probably don't want to.
All right. I like that. It's good. It's a good case. Yeah, you stand to lose with Miles Sanders. You do with Kerryon. It's so many. It's not just that there's a lot of guys in that backfield. It's that all of them have overlapping skill sets. Mm-hmm. There's not like one bruiser, like a Thunder and Lightning style, like set up there, like an Austin Eckler and a bigger back to do something like that. So, it's not great. I don't love it. And
Thunder and Lightning. Oh, Ron Dane.
Ron Dane and
Tiki Barber. Was it Tiki Barber?
No, that was Brandon Jacobs and somebody else, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, it was Ron Dane and Brandon Jacobs. Yes,
they were Thunder and Lightning. Who was Lightning in that backfield? Nobody was fast there. Oh man,
I'll research it real quick.
And then you had the guys in Tennessee. You had the kid from USC, and I don't remember who else. But anyway, my buy low candidate, and this is a risky one, kind of like your Deshaun Watson pickup, but I think if Melvin Gordon plays, I think Melvin Gordon's a good buy low candidate. He was the 14th best running back in PPR last year. If you need depth, you need a bye week guy, or you need a running back too, go out and get him for cheap if you can. He had 986 yards last year rushing, 4.6 yards per carry, but 9 touchdowns. Javonte Williams probably won't supplant him this year, so he'll probably have some decent value. He's probably got, top 15. He could probably be a top 15 guy again, because you're going to see guys like James Robinson fall out because they're in that weird two-headed monster backfield now. David Montgomery, that's getting to be crowded. He may not be in the top 10, top 15 again. We'll see. Antonio Gibson, we'll see what he does. Mike Davis is in Atlanta now. He was a top 12 guy filling in for CMC. So Melvin Gordon, he could still sit around that top 15 area. He caught 32 passes. It's not a ton, but at least he was targeted a little bit. It's more than Josh Jacobs and guys like that who has to compete with Kenyon Drake now. So I think Melvin Gordon's a good buy low candidate. He might get you some unexpected value if he plays, as long as this a DUI doesn't hinder his playing time this year.
No, it only hinders his ability to drive. We know that.
Yeah,
so.
right. Yeah, because he only got 215 attempts last year. So if he gets a little bit more than that, if they try to run the ball a little bit more, Teddy and Drew there, it could help.
Everything is good about that offense except for the quarterback situation.
Yeah, they're not
good
bad.
Running backs, Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon. You got great receivers, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler. No one to throw him the ball. Noah Fant. No one to throw him the ball. No one. Nope.
Teddy's fairly accurate.
We got a teddy bear and a freaking Chotch from Missouri. We got nothing. It's something special. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. What's next?
Anybody else you want to talk about in running backs?
I mean, I talk running backs all day. You want to talk?
I'm going to say sell high on David Montgomery. He ain't going to be a top 5 running back again next year, boys and girls.
You just need to sell, period. On that.
Sell him. Get out while the going's good.
If you can get anything for James Robinson, you should probably start looking into that.
Josh Jacobs, I would suggest moving on from him, trying to get something from him.
Yeah, there's a couple of guys here I'm just looking at. I'm like, oh, that's not good. Derrick Henry has to be getting close to the end of this run.
No, I'm not taking the bait on that this year. Nope. Derrick Henry is a monster. 312 carries last year, 1,500 yards. He ended up with 2,000 on the season. No, I'm not.
This is it. I'm calling it. This is it. This is the last season of dominance. This is it.
No.
A la Adrian Peterson.
I think he's going to kill it again this year. That guy's in insane shape. So
okay.
Nobody wants to hit him. Nobody wants to hit that man because he's.
I don't blame him.
He's a train. He is a freight train.
He's basically a semi truck that carries a football. I don't want anything to do with that.
I do like Mike Davis as a buy low guy. I think he'll be okay in that Atlanta offense as much as they throw.
Oh, the old buy low, stay low candidate. I like it. He's the starter. I mean, yeah, it's true.
All right. Let's move on to wide receivers. We'll see what's going on there.
You want to do buy low, sell high?
Yeah.
Which one?
What are we buying?
That's what I'm saying.
So I say sell high on. Sorry to interrupt. Tyler Lockett. Sell high on Tyler Lockett.
Oh,
they got a little Dwayne Eskridge there now.
You know I don't like him, so I don't like Tyler Lockett. So please speak to my ego. Go ahead. Yeah. I lost my beautiful locks because of him one time.
Yeah. So they were 7 and 8 last year in PPR.
Okay.
But Lockett was so up and down. He was really, really good for the first half of the season and then just completely fell off in the second half of the season. But he lived on the back of a 200 and something yard, like crazy reception, like 5 touchdown game, something like that. Let me see if I can pull that up. Something ridiculous. Game log. He had a 15 reception, 200 yard, 3 touchdown week 7. That basically kept him afloat for the rest of the season. His following scores after that: 3.3, 4, 6.6, 12.7, 2.3, 6.3, 5.2, 3.4, 4.4, and then in week 17 against San Francisco had 21 points. So you're looking at single digits in 8 of his last 10 games.
Okay.
Yuck. So move on from Tyler Lockett if you can sell him high.
Okay.
Especially during drafts.
Hey, I'm not arguing with that. I can't stand him. So for me, I'm all about it. Let's dump him.
Yeah,
You know?
and they have Gerald Everett there now. He's an athletic tight end who likes to roam around the middle of the field. Dwayne Eskridge is going to be in the slot. He's quick. He's gonna be good there, I think. And then DK Metcalf he's DK Metcalf. He's a beast. So he's going to get the majority of the red zone targets. I don't think you see Tyler Lockett put up 10 touchdowns again. I just don't.
Okay. All right. So there's a guy who I'm thinking of. How long do we hold on to Devante Adams?
Ooh.
Now, the reason I say that is the guy's 28 years old, which is still young in real life, let's be honest, but fantasy football, 28. Now, receivers do last longer than running backs. We know that. We can acknowledge that. But he's 28. He'll be 29, turns 29 during the season. And I firmly believe this is the last year with Aaron Rodgers. Now, if they had a quarterback on the roster who was ready to start for Aaron Rodgers, a la Jordan Love, you think they go out and sign Blake Bortles as a backup?
I was just going to say Blake Bortles is ready to start.
You think? Because I don't think so. I don't think Jordan Love's ready, which means if the Packers, who don't think Jordan Love's ready, you think he's just going to get ready all of a sudden? You think he's just going to be good to go? No, they made a mistake, which means
they made
Aaron Rodgers
an error.
They made a huge error. So I don't see it. I think that Devante Adams, despite him being the number one wide receiver all season last season in PPR, I think if you have the opportunity, he absolutely will not. He will not repeat what he did last year. So he had more touchdowns than anybody in the NFL last year with 18. That won't happen again this year. Aaron Rodgers ain't throwing 48 tutters, and if he does, he's going to throw them to some other people. He's not.
Are we sure? Are we sure? He's the only guy on the team, really. Amari Rodgers is going to take a bunch of them touchdowns? I don't think so.
He hasn't. He's played a full season once in his career.
That's fair.
Sorry. Excuse me. Twice, but in 2014, he wasn't really involved. So that was his rookie season. Whatever. Since he became a starter, since he became a full-time starter, he's played one season of 16 games. One. So I don't like his
14 games last season, though. And he still scored 18 touchdowns.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Which means it's sell high. So that's my sell high guy. What about you and your buy low?
Okay, hang on. We're not moving off Devante Adams yet.
Okay.
So you're selling him high. How much what are you getting for him? Because if you're selling him, I want to know what you think what you should get for that.
I want the world.
Well, yeah, of course you do. You're selling Devante. You're selling the number one receiver in fantasy last year. So yeah, I would want a ransom too. But what do you realistically think you can get?
I want Zeke in a second.
You want Zeke in a second?
That's what I want.
You don't want to try to flip him for like a Stephon Diggs, like to replace that receiver on your team, or you're trying to move him for like a world-class running back, one of those workhorse backs, which are becoming rarer and rarer as the days go by.
The thing is that a lot of people in the fantasy community don't like to do position for position trades because one person on that deal knows something's up, and they're like, "What? Why do you want my running back over your running back?" You know what I mean? So you can be like, "Well, I threw in a third next year. I mean, what's the big deal? You're still."
I threw in a future second. Come on, it's 2 years from now, but.
So that's why I personally like to do cross positional trading. But if you want to do that, you're going to have to get other things involved, like a tight end you're going to throw in or something like that. Okay. But I think if you wanted to, so let's say you wanted to do that. You wanted to take Devante Adams and you wanted to trade him for, let's say you wanted to trade him for Mark Andrews and you wanted to throw in one of these other guys like Keenan Allen. Okay. So you could probably get Mark Andrews and Keenan Allen for Devante Adams. I mean, I think that would be a decent trade. But I don't know how realistic it is, and it all depends on team breakdown. But if it's me, I'm targeting Zeke in a second. But I don't think there's anything wrong with going after a tight end that you need and then getting a guy with an upside. Because there's another guy I'm talking about buying low who I think is a prime candidate to include in a trade like this, if I can segue into that, unless you have anything else for Devante Adams.
No, I think
Okay.
I think you're dead on with Devante Adams. If you can get two like low end one guys, like a receiver a receiver number 10 and like a tight end number like 5 or 6 maybe. That's a good move, and then maybe a pick because it is Devante Adams and he was tremendous last year. So
Absolutely. So let's say I don't know, maybe you take Keenan Allen and Noah Fant and you trade them for Devante Adams.
Okay.
I love me some Keenan Allen and I love me some Robert Woods. The reason I'm saying is because they never get no respect. These guys never get any respect.
They don't. That's true. Wide receivers 13 and 14 last year.
Exactly. And Keenan Allen, we know what his quarterback's going to be now, Justin Herbert. I would argue that Robert Woods just got an upgraded quarterback. I think that's fair to say. Mm-hmm. I don't know how he's going to be utilized yet, but I'd imagine in this offense, despite them trying to draft other receivers, they paid Robert Woods and they paid Cooper Kupp. So Robert Woods and Keenan Allen are both kind of buy low candidates that I absolutely love. And Robert Woods especially. He gets no respect. The guy, he's been like a top 15 receiver for the past 3 years, and he gets no respect. I don't understand it. They're just like, oh, Bobby Trees?
Yeah.
But I love Bobby Trees. He's my buy low candidate for sure. I got nothing but respect for him. Greatest USC receiver since Keyshawn Johnson.
Yeah. Keenan Allen has had 102 receptions, almost 1,400 yards, 97 receptions, 1,200 yards, 104 receptions, 1,200 yards, and 100 receptions and not quite 1,000 yards last season in the last 4 years. Keenan Allen's really good. He's a little bit older, but if you are in like win now territory, yeah, go get you some Keenan Allen and some Bobby Trees. They're nice guys to have on your team, especially if you're competing for a title. They're good depth. They're good flex players, good wide receiver 2s if you need them there. Keenan Allen's a wide receiver 1 in my book, and Bobby Trees is knocking on the door. So if you have those two guys, you're in pretty good shape there for a little while at least.
Top 15 3 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to do with that? All right.
Yeah.
Your turn, bud. Sorry, I get all fired up about this stuff.
That's okay. That's awesome. So I'm going to talk about the Washington football team receivers. Go get you some Washington football team receivers, particularly Terry McLaurin.
Oh, well, yeah.
Of course. If you can, he was wide receiver 20 last year. And I don't think a lot of people are sold that Fitzmagic coming there is going to help him. I mean, there are people out there that are saying that. But if you can get Terry McLaurin for a decent price, if you can, show all the statistics that show Ryan Fitzpatrick doesn't throw a great deep ball or something like that, go out there, be a used car salesman, whittle down the price for Terry McLaurin, and buy him low. Because I think he's going to have a monster season this year.
That's what I couldn't agree with you more, because when you're in person, right? So when you're in person, you get to sit there and you can make your case, just like a used car salesman. But there's this guy in FSA, Fantasy Sports Alliance, that I'm work with in Dynasty, and he will send me articles disparaging the player that he's trying to get. Like, oh yeah, and then when he's trying to sell me a player, he'll send me articles about how great the player is and how the team is going to use. And I'm like, I know what you're doing. But even despite that, I'm still like, maybe he's right. Like, I have to talk to myself and say, this guy's messing with me. So you're absolutely right. Used car salesman, dude. It's tricky, man. It's tricky, but there's always ways. Even when you can't see someone face to face, there's always a way to get your point across.
Mm-hmm. I also like Curtis Samuel as a buy low candidate if you can try to work him into a deal. Hopefully Ron Rivera is a little bit more experienced with what his skill set, and they can use that to their advantage. He kind of had a breakout season last year, a little bit, but I think Ron Rivera and hopefully that offense can unlock, because man, that defense is nasty, and I feel like they're just going to have lots of extra opportunities with turnovers or 3 and outs. Just being able to get extra possessions every game from that defense, because they got even better this offseason. So I like that. I like Curtis Samuel and Terry McLaurin. Anybody else you want to talk about in receivers? I got one more if you don't.
Go ahead, bud. I'm ready to
Okay.
hit this last position.
Sell high on Corey Davis.
Oh, yeah.
He's had one good year. He's been a trash panda the rest of his career. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Sell high.
Panda.
Sell high on Corey Davis.
Golly.
I don't even think he's the best receiver on that team right now. So they paid him like one, but he is not a wide receiver one. Without A.J. Brown, you watch his stock go.
Okay. All right. I agree. I would also be fine selling high on Mike Evans as well. But
would you?
That's just I don't know how long that quarterback situation in Tampa is going to last, and that team is built to win now. That's true, but come on,
he was my first receiver in FSA. No, I'm sorry, he was my second receiver in FSA. Excuse me.
And I think he's a great receiver, but I just
13 tutters last season.
He finished 11th last season, yeah. But I mean, the sun has to set on every dog. But let's tight ends.
Tight ends. Who are you selling?
We gotta wrap this up. So for me, this one's a little more difficult because if you get a good tight end, you certainly don't want to sell them.
Mm-hmm.
So your first instinct is, well, I got to go with with Kelsey because he's getting old. However, tight end is so scarce, and I don't know if you know a guy by the name of Tony Gonzalez. He also played for the Kansas City Chiefs, and then he transferred to the Atlanta Falcons. He was a top tight end until he retired. And at this point in his career, Kelsey has played less games than Gonzalez by about 40 games. That's a substantial amount. I can't pick him. Sorry. So for me, the guy that I'm willing to sell high on is Darren Waller. Darren Waller finished second last season in tight ends. He was fantastic, especially when you consider how terrible the other ones were. But we know how fluid things are in Las Vegas when it comes to the Raiders. I do not believe that Derek Carr is going to be the quarterback there much longer. I think Darren Waller will have a good season this year. I absolutely think he will. But if you're talking about trying to maximize your value right now, I think he's a guy that won't be around much longer.
Okay.
He's been great the past two seasons. I'm not knocking that. I'm not arguing that. His touchdown total jumped from 3 to 9. Fantastic. Like I said, number 2 tight end in all of fantasy, but things are creeping up. I think there are other guys who are going to start slowly working their way up past him, a la Kyle Pitts, TJ Hawkinson. Maybe even Noah Fant works his way up there. So for me, those are some guys that I'm looking to go ahead and get a hold of right now and get rid of Darren Waller. I don't believe in him long term. He just came out of nowhere. And so that's
okay.
Me.
Interesting. Sell or buy a low candidate for tight end. That's tough. I do like Hunter Henry. I think Hunter Henry is a good buy low candidate. He was tight end 12 last year. But he's never really been healthy. He's never really had that like breakout season. But I think in that Patriots system, especially with Jonnu Smith there, and more so down the road when they get to the Mac Jones era, I think he's a really good buy low candidate for that era of the Patriots. I don't think he's going to get a ton of work with Cam. I think that's more of a running team. I think they'll put 2 guys down on the line and probably use them to block a little bit more. And Cam's accuracy, we'll see if it comes back. It was pretty rough last season. I know he was sick and banged up, but not a lot of hope for that there. But the Mac Jones era, he throws a pretty accurate ball and he throws it on time. So I like him as a buy low candidate for the future.
Perfect. So there's a guy that I have as a buy low candidate, and maybe you'll be able to help me out with this. He didn't play a lot last season. That's okay, because he will play plenty this year. Mm-hmm. His name is – actually, let me ask you this real quick. Who's the number 2 wide receiver in New Orleans?
Traquan Smith.
Exactly. No one's ever heard of him. So I like Adam Troutman. He came out of Dayton, 6'5", 253 pounds.
Huh.
He played last year sparingly. They didn't want to use him that much, but he does have one touchdown in his career. It came against the Bucs in a 38-3 win. Adam Troutman, they drafted him to be the future of the tight end position, and now they made an aggressive trade to actually get him in the third round.
Mm-hmm.
And now with Drew Brees gone, I think we might actually get to see some tight end usage out of the position. And I think between Jameis Winston and it'll be Jameis Winston. Come on, let's not say that. It'll be Jameis. Jameis will want to lean on him a little bit. Okay. And I think it's a perfect candidate for him. I think Adam Troutman is a guy who I want in the future. He's only 24 years old. He's going to be phenomenal. Go ahead and get you some Adam Troutman shares. He's not going to cost much to get you. You can probably get him for a third-round pick. And just kind of wait. Just wait and let that steak marinate. And when that trout is ready to go, that trout man, it's going to be good. All right.
Oh, man. Let's see. I did a buy low. Did I do a buy low? I already did a buy low. Sell high. Sell high on Jonnu Smith. If you can sell high on Jonnu Smith, I think that's a good move right now.
So you went both Patriots tight ends.
I did go both Patriots tight ends. So Jonnu Smith, he was 16th for tight ends last year, but he got big money in the offseason, and the hype is there. People think the Patriots are going to use him in unconventional ways to do unconventional things, a little bit like the Titans did last season, but I think everyone thinks, the great Bill Belichick is going to unlock the inner star in Jonnu Smith. I don't see it. I think he's going to make him put his hand in the ground and block this year at least. So I think he's a good sell high candidate.
Okay. I also like selling on Logan Thomas. I'm ready to dump him and that old Robert Tonyan feller.
Tonyan you should probably move on from if you haven't already. But
I'm ready to dump both of those guys. Yeah. But
I like another rookie as a buy low candidate. So you were talking about Adam Troutman. I like me some Cole Kmet. Get you some Cole Kmet because you got a rookie quarterback coming in there. Because let's face it, Andy Dalton's not gonna play very much. Let's all be real. Justin Fields is coming in. He's gonna play. Maybe not week 1, but it'll happen sooner than it does later. And Cole Kmet's there. I think he'll be a very reliable target for a young rookie quarterback. So,
yeah, I even like that Brevin Jordan kid for Houston. I think he might be all right as well. But that's going to be one of those things that's going to take a few. That's going to take a few years. That's more of like a little rookie stash. But
well, they got to figure out who's throwing the ball there first.
Well, I think we know who's throwing the ball.
Yeah,
it's going to be Tyrod Taylor. So, all right.
You think Chris Herndon finally breaks out this year with Zach Wilson?
If he can,
he's been like the fantasy Twitter darling for like the last 3 years. Everyone's like Chris Herndon. Chris Herndon.
I believed in him. I had him. He was the guy, and it never came to fruition. So
yeah, we'll see what happens.
Trey Burton. So
Trey Watch, we miss you, buddy. Miss you.
Tebow, that's the guy now, though. Tebow, that's the guy. 33
Tebow
years
Watch.
Old. Never played tight end before in his life. Probably going to be a tight end 1. That's my guess.
Probably. It's such a crapshoot. Tight ends. Even in our Superflex draft, our rookie our dynasty startup draft, it's tight end premium. I still can't bring myself to value the position. I can't do it. I'm out here taking Jalen Waddle and all these other guys. I'm like, I should get a tight end, and then I don't. Oh man,
what are you gonna do?
Times. What are you gonna do? Yeah. I just can't value the position. Can't do it. Oh well. It's okay. You ready to wrap it up?
I'm ready, boys. All right.
All right.
Just you.
Send us home, Josh.
All right. Thanks for tuning in to the Empty Wagon Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Josh. You can find me on Twitter at FFJoshHughes. Eric is at GunsOfL19. If you want to bother Brad, go ahead and hit him up at Tack Jones. You can find the show at Empty Wagon FF on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And don't forget to check out our website at fsa-fr.com. We love you guys, and we will see you next week.
See ya.